Shockingly, at the beginning of last month, as I was preparing a shopping list for my sister going to primary school boarding, I'd written the bar of soap, the price at 4,500 White Star, but then my dad crossed and put it at 9K. I asked him why, and he told me prices had increased, and I wasn't aware at that time. Well, we as students doing tax policies and in Uganda Christian University, we want to talk about the increase, the rampant increase in different prices like cooking oil, bar of soap, and fuel. I'm Arnett Griffin Eddie.
Hello, Heron.
Again, Kenneth Jeffrey.
Mitunji Alvin.
Milenji Gladys Joyce.
Well, we do believe that the only way, or the ways the government can combat such a big issue is through economic policies. And today we want to talk about two policies, fiscal policy and monetary policy. Well, a policy is anything the government can come up with to combat any economic issue. And according to Arthur Smith's, a fiscal policy is when the government uses the expenditure and revenue programs to produce desirable effects and avoid undesirable effects like increase in employment and things like that. Well, we do believe fiscal policy tells us that the government can either increase its spending or decrease the taxes or both.
You see, however much fiscal policy helps to improve the balance of payment position by encouraging exports and discouraging imports, it leads to tax cuts which reduces funds for government expenditure. Monetarists argue that in the long run, aggregate supply is elastic. Therefore, an increase in aggregate demand will only cause inflation, which makes fiscal policy an unreliable concept for a developing country like Uganda. Monetary policy refers to the deliberate attempt by the government through the central bank to regulate the amount of money in circulation so as to attain objectives of development like stable economic growth rates, balance of payment position, and full employment. The central bank, Bank of Uganda in particular, uses various methods to control credit. Credit control is a government policy through the central bank to regulate lending by commercial banks in order to influence level of economic activities so as to achieve the desired microeconomic activities such as price stability, balance of payment equilibrium, and full employment.
And during inflation, which is a persistent increase in the prices, that the central bank reduces the amount of money in circulation using the monetary policy. As we have heard from my colleague, what it is, it's the deliberate action by the government to increase, to control money that is in circulation. And then deflation, which is the opposite of inflation, which is a reduce in the prices. The central bank increases the circulation of money in the economy using the expansionary monetary policy. And the expansionary monetary policy is promoted and is emphasized, and so doing the bank uses the following policies to curb unemployment. We have the bank rate, which is the rate at which the central bank charges the commercial banks when they get money from it. And we have the open market operations, and then we have the reserve ratio, and we have the direct control. Then the bank uses its policies such as the bank rate, which it reduces, and in reducing it, it influences the commercial banks to reduce their interest rates to their customers, which in turn makes them to borrow more and increases investment and employment opportunities. Therefore, a country like Uganda, which is a less developed country, we encourage it to use the monetary policy to bring stability of the prices in the economy, and also reduces interest rates on the loans, and this also reduces deflation by imposing an upward pressure on the prices.
Consequences of using the monetary policy to avert the economic crisis in Uganda. First and foremost, we have maintaining the stable balance of payment position. This can be achieved through use of selective credit control that helps in increasing the country's foreign exchange earnings, as well as providing employment opportunities to many Ugandans in the manufacturing sector. And this discourages importation and it increases exportation, thus promoting the country's balance of payment position and as well as stabilizing the country's economy. Secondly, we have attaining full employment level, which can be achieved through use of the expansionary monetary policy, through lending to productive sectors such as the agriculture sector. For example, the Gazi Sugar Factory can hire more farmers so as to increase on the production of sugar in the economy, and that's leading to stabilization of the sugar prices. Thirdly, we have ensuring stability in exchange rates. exchange rates affect both imports and exports, thus affecting aggregate demand. Regulating exchange currencies will increase on the bank income and thus be able to give out loans to investors who will be able to invest in the industrial sector, thus providing goods at affordable prices.
Bank adopts to open market operations on rich individuals to reduce on their money through the commercial banks, which pay the central bank, and this income is used by the government to finance projects such as Emyoga, which helps rural farmers in producing more and developing their agricultural skills, hence providing more food commodities and reducing the prices of commodities, hence stabilizing the economy. Monetary policy attains equitable distribution of income. The central bank can increase the saving account tax through the commercial banks on the rich individuals as they pay the more on taxes. The income generated will be used to support the low-income earners through creation of projects like Operation Wealth Creation and Wazalendo Circles, which provide income to the low-income earners and help them set up businesses, which further helps in stabilizing the economy. It further fosters savings of communities. This is through manipulation of the interest rates. Many Ugandans are encouraged to save more with the aim of obtaining more income as financial institutions set high interest rates on savings, therefore making more money in the long run. And when these people withdraw the money, they are advised to invest more in sectors like the industrial and agricultural sector, therefore producing more household commodities and providing food prices, stabilizing the economy. Monetary policy encourages the growth of financial sectors. This is mainly through promotion of expansionary monetary policies such as the bank ratio, bank rate, reserve ratio, and selective credit control in order to encourage commercial banks to lend to willing borrowers and investors, thus being able to grow through realizing high profits from credit creation and providing necessities and services through firms invested in, which would create commodities like soap and cooking oil, which are scarce right now, leading to the high prices, therefore stabilizing the economy in the long run. Outcomes of these tools are the ones that we looked at and realized the government would rather use monetary policy than the fiscal policy, because however much it can increase its expenditure and reduce taxation, the government doesn't have that money and you can't continue with borrowing so as to stabilize the economy. That's why we chose the monetary policy. And we can see experiences from countries like Canada, the United States of America, United Kingdom, South Africa, and Tanzania, our neighbors, where the Bank of Tanzania controls inflation by managing the growth of money supply. Therefore, like extended broad money supply is estimated to be the closest in the relationship with inflation, and it has helped them in stabilizing their economy, and that's why we chose